Welcome back to my channel. I'm Chanel with Save Sell Chanel. If you're new to my channel, this channel is dedicated to the different ways I save and sell one day at a time. So let's get into it. So the time change has totally thrown me off and when I can record. Right now it's 6 p.m. and it's dark outside, so I can't record in my usual spot. So I figured I'd give you guys a little tour of my house. I'm here in my living room with my pillow decor in the back. I wanted this to be more of an intimate setting where I share with you week 3 of the Posh N Sip coffee edition, which was sourcing strategically. Now, Versace Janae and I were the presenters last week, and she went first, and she is a part-time seller. While she's still in high school, she actually has the initiative to go and be an entrepreneur and had just a great future ahead of her, because when I was her age, I was definitely not doing what she's doing now, which is taking the initiative to learn how to resell and use the Poshmark app and do this while she's still in school and get ready for college. She already has a really good foundation to be successful. So some of the ways that she said that she sources, especially from a perspective of someone who engages with people of different economic backgrounds, fashion styles on a daily basis. So what she'll do is she'll go and ask fellow classmates to ask where are they getting their fashionable pieces, their currently trending pieces, and find different ways to source there. She'll also ask fellow family members, do they have any pieces that they are no longer using, if they would be willing to give them to her so that she could resell them on the Poshmark app. She'll also shop at local thrift stores or also do retail arbitrage. One of the biggest sales that she goes to is the Dillard's New Year sale, and she'll get a lot of inventory from there and use it to resell. But the biggest way that she usually gets a lot of her inventory is from shopping from her own closet. And once that is done, she'll reach out to family members, to friends, do thrifting, and then do retail arbitrage. The best thing about the retail arbitrage is that if it doesn't sell between 30, 60, or the 90 days, she'll go ahead and return it and get her money back. So in terms of what I'm going to talk about, I did a PowerPoint presentation because I get sidetracked easily, and with everything going on in my day job, with getting ready to travel to the Philippines, with co-hosting 2 Posh N Sip events in December. And if you haven't already signed up for those events, I'm gonna leave a link at the bottom in the description box down below. And if you missed last week's event, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you the exact PowerPoint presentation. And in fact, I'm gonna go into even more detail because it was so loud at the Posh N Sip event that I couldn't really project as loud as I wanted to everyone who was there, and a vast majority of people couldn't hear what I was saying. So I'm gonna go step by step and explain to you some of my tips for my PowerPoint presentation. So as you can see here, I started off introducing everyone to the Posh N Sip coffee edition. The topic of the week was sourcing strategically. A vast majority of the people who went didn't know me or what my background was, and I feel that some of you are new to my YouTube channel and may not know what my own background is. So I've been selling part-time on e-commerce for about 10 years. I sold on e-commerce because I was working 3 jobs while I was going to college, and there wasn't enough time during the day for me to make even more money. I was barely making ends meet. I had to pay my own rent, help pay for school, and I just didn't have enough time to get a 4th job. So I had to go and sell on e-commerce to make additional money. Had I not been able to do that, I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to graduate college because I wouldn't have had the income I needed to hit my goals and to make the extra money that I needed to pay my bills, graduate college. You know, I went at my own pace, but I finally made it. When it came to Poshmark, I have sold on Poshmark for about 2 years. I was so adamant about selling on other platforms, and I finally ventured into selling on Poshmark. And if you haven't watched my video on why I love selling on Poshmark, you should do that. I'm gonna leave a link at the top of this video here. And then I also have a SaveSellChanel.com blog, a YouTube, an Instagram, a podcast, and I also have Thrift Tips Thursday. I have fallen off on Thrift Tips Thursday. I know it's just been that I've had a lot of things come up recently and I haven't been able to do as much as I wanted to in terms of that, but I will get better at probably after the holidays. I'm really trying my best. I've been spread really thin recently. Oh, Oh, I forgot to mention, yes, Thrift Tips Thursdays, where I go to different thrift stores or resale shops throughout San Antonio, deep dive as to why they're even open, and talk about what their missions are. A vast majority of thrift stores in San Antonio do have a mission. They're a nonprofit. The example that I mentioned during the Posh N Sip event was Revolution Thrift, which is a 100% volunteer run. 100% of the proceeds go back to nonprofit organizations in San Antonio that really need the help, and they're only open right now from Thursday to Saturday because they're volunteer run and operated. I also mentioned that earlier this year, I was featured on Great Day San Antonio on different tips to use when you're thrift shopping in San Antonio to really maximize your time and your budget. So the first question was, where do you get your inventory? And I said, my closet or friends and family. As you can see in the first picture on your left, that was when I was helping my sister Marie Kondo her closet, and I went through hundreds, maybe even thousands of pieces, and it was a long process. And I was able to get items for resale for myself. A lot of family members got some items, and we also sent some items to the Philippines, and even then there was still a lot left. The picture on the bottom right, packaging material as well as clothing from my mother-in-law. She had items in her closet that she was no longer using and gave it to me to help with my Poshmark closet. And I said that I recommend, if you are starting off selling on Poshmark, do not spend money. Focus on selling things that are in your own closet, and then start talking to your friends and family. Garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, estate sales, rummage sales, flea markets, clothing swaps, Craigslist. You can use online apps such as OfferUp, LetGo, or 5 Miles to find items in your city that other people are willing to part with. And if you haven't watched my other video on different ways if you are selling items, on what app to sell your items on, I would recommend watching that, because it does have some tips as a seller what you should do if someone's buying from you. But not only that, those tips can be used for someone who's a buyer, such as make sure you have someone with you when you're picking up new items and meet in a public area. And these pictures here are from different videos that I have on my YouTube channel that you might want to check out. They're different haul videos, fill-a-bag sales, and clothing swaps. I continued on with, where do you get your inventory? Are you willing to drive? Yes. Now, if you don't want to go to thrift stores or buy secondhand, there are other options in terms of retail arbitrage. There are popular ones are going to be Marshalls, Ross, TJ Maxx, Nordstrom Rack, Big Lot, Macy's Last Call, JCPenney clearance, Kohl's clearance. I use Kohl's Cash as well. When it comes to Poshmark, now that you have a home market, I definitely check out HEB clearance. And if you don't have an HEB, which is the local grocery store here in Texas, definitely check out your grocery stores. There are a lot of items that people are discounting because no one's thinking of buying them at a local grocery store. I also do Walgreens clearance, CVS clearance, dirt cheap. And if you don't know what dirt cheap is, I have 2 videos on that, and I'll leave a link at the top or at the bottom of this page. You also have consignment shops, the outlets. Make sure you join the rewards program. Now, in terms of all of these retail arbitrage options, yes, Marshalls, Ross, and TJ Maxx are the ones that people know the most. I also recommend joining the rewards program for TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And when it comes to Nordstrom Rack, there is that infamous 1 penny item, and you won't know sometimes until it's scanned that it was only 1 cent. When it comes to JCPenney clearance, I always shop the men's section, and usually it's between, when it's about additional 90% off, and it's usually the big and tall sizes, and then those are the ones that I'll sell quickly. When it comes to consignment shops, I was telling my story of how I went to a local consignment shop and I forgot my first tip, which is to ask if there are any deals that are going on that day. I'd spent 15 to 20 minutes thinking that I couldn't afford anything until I finally had the courage to ask, do you have any sales? And the owner said all the clothing in the store is $1.99. So they had Versace, they had some really high-end brands, and I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't take my own advice at the time, but I highly recommend, if you're going to consignment shops, to ask or even call before you head over there to see if there are any good deals for the day. you get your inventory? Are you willing to drive? If the answer is no, here are some options for you. Now, for my YouTube channel, for my blog, and for my Instagram, there are a lot of people that I cater to, and I know a lot of you who do follow me, and I try to help people who are on a saving and selling journey as well. And I know that there are a lot of other YouTube channels where it's really great to have hauls and go thrift shopping, but a lot of you who do reach out to me say that you can't actually go and do that because you're homebound. And I worked with a lot of you to find different ways to still source even though you can't get out of your house and you just need the extra money to make it happen. So the first thing that I said was to shop on Poshmark. There are mystery boxes that were really good mystery boxes, and I had some old videos where I did do some unboxings of other mystery boxes that I did. I purchased a $7 mystery box with 4 jeans in them. I have already tripled my money on that. And also there are some closets on Poshmark where everything in their closet is $3 because they actually have a brick and mortar store and they're just trying to move inventory. It may not work in the places that they're located because once I looked at their closets, they're really rural area, and I've actually sold a lot of the items on those $3 closets on the Poshmark app. And what I'll also use is my Posh affiliate money. If you're unfamiliar with the Posh affiliate program, it's where you're a Posh ambassador. Once you reach Posh ambassador status, you have the ability to do certain posts. Maybe it'll be on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, and you'll get some Poshmark credit that you can use towards making a purchase on the Poshmark app. Now, you also have websites such as NordstromRack.com. I'll usually click the clearance section and then best value. They actually have the really best deals around holidays. Actually, this is the best time to check out their website. I also do lastcall.com. Click clearance and discount high to low. You'll probably see most of the famous brands that you're used to. And I also will pay attention to see if there's any other specials that are going on that website. Now, Last Call is a Neiman Marcus website, and so it's more high-end brands as well. I'll also search on eBay for mystery boxes, or it's also called fukubukuru, which is a mystery bag or a mystery box, a Japanese word for like a surprise bag. You are ready to go to the next step and do more bulk, bulq.com, and you also have Macy's liquidation, but you need to have a business license for that. I also do FabFitFun, which my PFF Divine Duchess told me about. It's where you have a subscription service, and every season they will send you some items for $50, whether it's beauty, whether it's workout, whether it's clothing, it's all in the same box. And I also have, as you can see there, an unboxing video of my first FabFitFun box. If you also want to do bulk and you're ready to do this full time, you also have Wholesale Ninjas and Via Trading. I also mentioned that the person that I watch the most on YouTube when it comes to unboxing bulk or liquidation palettes is Lindy Glenn. And the reason why I really appreciate her content is because she does this full time. She is a mom and she sells not only on Amazon, on eBay, on Poshmark. She also does merch by Amazon, does local sales. And so she has tried almost every single platform, and she has been so honest throughout her whole journey. So that's why I really watch her videos, and she goes into details and is really transparent in terms of her content. The next question is, what tips do you have for someone who wants to start sourcing? List what you own. As I said in the beginning, don't start spending money. A lot of people start getting really emotional. List what you own in your own closet, and then from there move on to friends and family. The next is to set a budget. I know all of us go crazy, and once we're in that hype, in that moment of thrifting and like, oh, this is a good deal, and this is a good deal, this is a good deal, you end up spending hundreds of dollars, and maybe that's money you needed to pay your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, or even just put food on the table. And because you went and had that emotional high, now you can't get that money back because you haven't listed it yet. So I usually, if you're brand new and you're already on a tight budget, that's why I set my Thrift Tips Thursday to $10, because I know a lot of you who are following me, some of you barely even have the $10 to go thrifting. And like I show you, there are ways that you can maximize that $10 to find good items to relist on Poshmark. And I said, if you're driving, establish a route. Don't go one way in the far west side and like, oh yeah, there's a thrift store down south, and oh yeah, there's a thrift store up north. Go to google.com, type in thrift stores near me, and then see what's available. I also use Facebook to see if there are any thrift stores near me, and then I'll reestablish my route that way. The reason being, a lot of thrift stores, especially in San Antonio, they're brand new and haven't reached to Google yet. So Facebook is actually more reliable than Google Maps. And then I also want to say, and I'm guilty of this, I have what they call a death pile or money pile, a lot of items that are not listed yet. And because of that, I recommend list before you buy more. Yes, we just love the thrill of the hunt, but good practice is to list your items before you go out and buy more items. And because I have a full-time job, because I do this part-time, I use websites such as sellhound.com and checkaflip.com for comps to see if what I'm buying is even a good investment. And if you're doing retail arbitrage, return it before the expiration date. Don't invest $10, $15, $20 and it never sells, and now you're stuck with an item and maybe you lose profit. If it's not selling within 30, 60, or 90 days, it's time to get your money back and invest it in something else. And lastly, it's not personal, it's business. Don't let your emotions dictate your purchase. Now from here, it depends on who you are, whether or not you're willing to be like someone like me who wants to rehome pieces and is willing to wait. Some of you really need that quick flip, and instead of saying, oh, this is super cute, I know someone will like it, but instead of saying, okay, is this a good value? What are the comps? Am I going to end up losing money? How long is this going to sit? Instead of taking the time to really evaluate each item and each piece, people just start throwing things thinking it's a good buy, and it ends up never selling, or in fact you start losing money, which is not what you want to do. The next question is, what do you look for? i.e. conditions, sizing, trends. I said determine what your closet is focused on. Is it vintage? Is it men's? Is it women's? Is it kids? Is it home? Poshmark can be whatever you want it to be. And frankly, if you choose to have a certain aesthetic, or some people just throw everything in there, which is perfectly fine, but I feel that if you have a more curated closet, people are more likely to bundle items, and that will increase your average selling price. And I said, if it's thrifted, make sure there are no holes, stains, or major damage. Go to the front of the thrift store where there's better natural lighting to make sure there's nothing that you missed. If it's new, make sure there are no stains or defective tags. I know at Ross, TJ Maxx, and Marshalls, sometimes they have tags that are defective, or they're not in the best condition to be at the actual, let's say, Nike store, Adidas stores, but they're still shoes, but not at the grade A quality that they would want to sell in their actual stores. I also use Poshmark showrooms for trending items. If you're unsure how to get there, you click on shop, scroll to the bottom of the page, and look at the showrooms. The showrooms are the items that are currently trending on Poshmark, and from there you'll see what maybe you have something in your closet that is currently trending, and that's an immediate trigger for you to go ahead and list that, because you know that's what people are currently looking for. And the final thing that I do is I'll check recently sold on Poshmark, and then from there, that's how I know what people are looking for, whether it's a seasonal piece, whether it's a certain brand. And from there, I'll go and decide, is this something that I need for my closet, or I need to find it, whether it's through thrifting or retail arbitrage. The last questions are other Poshmark questions. When are the best times to source for inventory? And I said during my Great Day San Antonio segment that if you can, the best times to shop are Monday mornings. And the reason being, a lot of thrift stores replenish their stores during that time. And that's when they actually have downtime to process everything. But if you're someone like me who can't go thrifting Monday through Friday because you have a day job, I recommend going Saturday mornings, because you beat the rush. Things are a little bit more organized compared to the Friday evening. So there's less people and you have more sanity and more space to go sourcing. The next question is, have you tapped into new markets? I currently sell on home, men's, women's, and kids. I have sold almost all of my items that are related to sneakers, and I not at the point where I want to do retail arbitrage because I have so much thrifted inventory that I need to list. But I know a lot of you, especially because of the holidays, are going to be doing a lot of sneaker arbitrage, whether you're going to the outlets or buying locally. There are a lot of options for you. The other question is, how do you store your inventory? I currently fold and hang depending on how delicate the items are. If it's a t-shirt or if it's a pair of shoes, then those are going to be in a tub. I have a dedicated room in my house for this. this, but when it comes to specific delicate dresses, they're going to be hung in my closet. And the last question is, have you needed to be creative? And the answer to that is yes. When my husband, at the time was my boyfriend, he and I lived in a 400 square foot apartment. I really needed to be mindful of what I was sourcing for. I needed to stack tubs and keep my inventory small. I wasn't really selling shoes. It was taking up too much space in my apartment. I had to really focus on t-shirts, on clothing, on things that could be folded, not high-end delicate dresses. Even if you're in a very small apartment, or maybe you're in a dorm, there are different ways that you can be creative when it comes to sourcing and to sell online. Whether you have hardly any money to spend or have a huge budget to spend to start buying palettes, there are options for you. So I wanted to say, if there is anything that I didn't touch on during this video, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, or if you can, DM me on Instagram on Save Sell Chanel, or definitely join my newsletter on savesellchanel.com and reach out to me that way. I'm always willing to help and give you ideas on different ways to source, no matter where you are throughout the country. So if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, such as Poshmark Milestone Program versus the Posh N Sip program, or the Starting Your Own Business or Packaging 101, please go back and watch those videos. I'll also be posting a video soon for building your own brand. And then the final video will be a reflection on this whole Posh N Sip Coffee Edition pilot program, what I would do differently, what I hope Poshmark does differently. So definitely stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed, please do so and hit the bell icon to be notified of all my future videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the video here. If you like this video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all of my future videos. So until next time, I'll see you in my next video.